Hello, and thank you everyone for joining us today. We have Claudio here from TODEC Legal Center. He's going to be giving us a great presentation about immigration and policy updates. So, Claudio, take it away.
Thank you, Suzanne. Good morning, and thank you for having me. And on behalf of TODEC Legal Center, we appreciate the opportunity to talk with the people and provide information that we hope that will be useful. TODEC is a nonprofit organization. We have offices in Paris, Coachella, and Victorville. We help in the community almost already for 40 years, helping in limited legal services and also in policy making, legislation that help the community to advance, to live better. Today, I will try to provide you some information in an updates and immigration, what is going on, and some rights regarding also to immigration. We know that we have uncertain times. The current administration is not too friendly with the community, immigrant community in general, and in particular to the undocumented one. So I will try to give you some information and advice what to do in particular situations, okay? One thing is that we always insist, and also in this environment, the use of the term illegal. There is not such thing. Human beings are not illegal. You may not have a legal status immigration-wise, but you are not illegal. So don't allow the use of that term. We try to do everything to educate people and to let them know. So let's start with what is mean knowing your rights. Knowing your right is knowledge is power. So if you know what your rights are, what you are entitled and allowed to do and what to not to do, you're gonna be safe in many situations. We know that the current administration has increased the procedures, rights, arrest and deportation of immigrants. They can go to your house 5 o'clock in the morning, knock on the door, or follow you on the street, so or going to your place of work. So we want to let you know, particular, very succinct, what are your rights? Well, the first right is to remain silent. You don't have any obligation to talk, so don't do it. You know, for movies, TV, they say everything you say may and will be used against you in a court of law or immigration court. So this is a fact that you have the right to remain silent. So don't talk, don't consent, don't sign anything that you don't know. You don't have obligation to do it. Okay, it's important to know if somebody goes to your home at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, knock on the door, verify first that they have the right to go in. Okay, that they have the right to enter. You don't have to be an attorney. If they have an order to go in, check it out that it's your house and it's your name on it. If they don't open the door. Do not open the door, because if not, you are allowing them to go in. You authorize them to do it. So the main thing about this one, how to protect yourself for those situations, remain silent, do not consent, do not sign anything, know your rights. And be prepared. Be prepared in this situation. Many people, this is really stressful. And again, suddenly they get arrested, detained, and the family is still there. Your kids, your wife, or your spouse, or parents. Make a plan. Be prepared. Make a plan what to do in those situations. Okay? It's not that difficult. It's important to know. You know that in these times may happen to you at any time. We know that the idea of having a comprehensive immigration reform, but nothing happened until now. And we know for a fact that if this administration continue to be is re-elected now in November 3rd, well, nothing will happen, probably for the worst. Will continue with their attacks. We know for a fact they attack plans, programs like Daca, like TPS. They try to limit the asylum procedure. So, you know, we have the opportunity now in November to vote, to decide what the future will be the next 4 years, what the future for our community will be. If you have the ability to vote, go and do it. It's your voice. It's the only way, or one of the ways that you can make your voice heard. So don't stop doing that. Let me talk about what are the opportunities? And let me start from the bottom of this list that they say, what are the current legal options? First of all, to understand, immigration, notwithstanding the pandemic, continue to work, meaning you can still have file for applications, renew your working permits, apply for green cards, renew your green card, apply for naturalization. Everything continue to be available. The only thing is that you have to do it online this time. TODEC, for example, will help you to file for naturalization, citizenship, renew your green cards, or renew your Daca. We are going to help you specifically on those ones. But you can file any type of petition today with USCIS, which is the Immigration Authority. And I start with Daca because you heard about Daca a lot. The government wanted to cancel this program, and it was saved, in fact, by the court, by the Supreme Court and other federal court in the country. The only thing is that the program continued to be in existence, but in a limited format, meaning only renovations are allowed to be done. So those people that never had this benefit before, they cannot apply today. But anybody that has the benefit before, and even if they expire or they are currently beneficiaries of the program, they can renew DACA, and it's important to do it. If you are 150 days from expiration, meaning almost 6 months, you can renew now. Do it. We are going to help you at TODEC. The service, you have to pay the fees, of course, but the entire service of helping you is absolutely free. And why is important to maintain the DACA if you don't have other status? Maintain the status by DACA. DACA protects you from deportations, allows you to continue to work in any work that you want. You have your social security number, and it's important. And why is important maintain status? Well, because of what I'm going to talk now. There are many opportunities. People sometimes believe that the only opportunities to obtain legal status is limited. Well, you get married, maybe your parents. There are many. You're going to talk about this one. Of course, family petitions are the most simple, the most easy in some ways. If you get married to a resident, to a citizen, if your parents or sons have legal status, you can obtain through them those ones. If you're a citizen, you also can do it through or with your sisters and brothers. Of course, the different timing. Right? We are going to talk about why it's important to be a citizen, because there are much more benefits than being a permanent resident. We'll talk about later about that. So the first thing is, remember, you have the options for family. And this take me, and before I go on the list, why it's so important to do a diagnostic, a screening, to know your story? Because we can help you to decide, maybe you don't know and you qualify for any or for a particular category of a legal status. It's really complicated and it's long. So we can help you for free to determine maybe you qualify in any of those categories. So do it. Go to our website, TODEC.org, make an appointment and talk with me or with any of our accredited representatives. We can help. So we talk about family options. We said the difference between if you marry a citizen, or your parents are citizens, or your son is in what is called immediate family. The timing is really short. You can get immigration status very fast. If, on the other hand, there are citizens, there are residents, the timing is a little longer. You have to wait more time. If you are in the military, you have programs that help you to obtain legal status, not only for you, but also for your kids and for your spouses. This is important. So check it out. What are the options? And it's really, really for the benefit of those guys, the people that is in the military. BAGUA, many people heard about BAGUA or visas U or visas T. This means that for people that they were victims of domestic violence or victims of crimes. Sometimes not directly victim of a crime, but even you could be a witness or happen to somebody in your family. if you were a victim of domestic violence. And these petitions are filed by yourself. It's not that you need somebody else to do it. You do it. And of course, they need to document the entire story, what happened. You need witnesses. But it's really an opportunity. Many people are in those situations, and sometimes, happen the worst, but it's for a good result that can give you immigration legal status. It's important to know if you qualify or not. Asylum refugees, we know that this government constantly is working to limit what are the options for people in those situations. But it's still available in some categories that you can do it. If you if are afraid of going back to your country, or something happened, this can be an option for you. TPS, we know also that the government is attacking, several weeks ago, attacked the TPS for El Salvadorian people. There's no doubt that this government, if reelected, will terminate or will try to terminate many programs for the benefit of the immigrant community. So special immigrant juvenile status. This is really important because applied to young people, and this happened a lot, not only with the Latin community. The parents are in the country of origin and the kids are by themselves here in the country, okay? So this could be a situation in which you qualify like an abandoned kid, not necessarily abandoned, but your parents are not here, you live under the guardianship of somebody else. So this is an opportunity also. One important thing about this one is that you can apply by yourself with this one. You don't need a sponsor. You don't need like in the family petition or working petition that somebody has to sponsor you, somebody has to ask for you. This is something that you do by yourself. So it's important to know if you qualify or not. Acquisition or derivation of citizenship means that if you have a parents that they were citizens, any of them, it's important because you may become automatically a citizen as well. So you need to know your family story. Okay, is important to know. Your parents or sometimes your grandparents, but know your family story. What happened? Okay, and lately the last one is of course employment. Look, consider Daca. Daca had hundreds of thousands of young people that are professionals working in industries, in different type of industries, qualified with professions. This allows you in those categories that an employer may sponsor you in those categories and obtain legal status through the employer. Like labor certifications, if you in many categories. I will not enter, but the professionals of any kind can obtain, if you have the sponsor, obtain the legal status degree. So as you can see, you have a long list of opportunities, but you have to know if you qualify or not. And for that, you need a screening, a diagnostic made by an attorney or legal representative that can know your history, how you entered the country, how long you've been here, what happened to you, if ever, what happened with your family, etc. Important to know all this. You can qualify for, be surprised, okay, having an opportunity to obtain legal status. We are lucky that we live in California. Why? Because this is a state which is called sanctuary state. And we have a lot of laws and regulations that are pro-immigrants, meaning trying to make the life of immigrants in general, but undocumented in particular, much easier. And we're gonna go about some of them, not in detail. You can go, and if you are interested in each of the programs, you can go even to our website to check it out, or to a particular, this depend on the cities, the counties, the state. It's very easy to find that information. The California Dream Act has to do with the students in university and colleges to obtain financial aid, financial assistance, because this college, this was really expensive, but there are plans that the different organizations, institutions, colleges, they have financial assistance. If you qualify for those plans, you can get, you can study, and the economic aspect is not be a barrier for you to continue education. So investigate this one. You have the website that is dream.csac.california.government. So you can check it out. What are the details if you are in that situation? Career license opportunity, and this is really important. In California, you can work if you're not as an employee because it's more difficult. You have to have legal permit to work. But as an independent, you can do almost whatever you want, so long that you have a license. Why? Because this is a very regulated state. You have, if you want to be a painter, a plumber, a gardener, an attorney, you need licenses. And this is important because if you do any of those jobs without the license, you can be committing a crime, or worse than that, you do your job and nobody pays you. Okay, you paint a house more than $500 and you don't have a license, and the owner say, I don't pay you, and you don't get paid, even if you go to court. So important to have a license. And in California, because of this law, the SB 1159, you are entitled, anybody is entitled, it doesn't matter if it's undocumented or documented, you are entitled, of course, qualify and the exams, but obtain professional licenses. You can do it. And another thing that is important, because in California, you can obtain driver license and ID if you are undocumented. And this takes me to another issue that I said before when we start, don't talk, your rights. Never ever carry with you foreign documents or fake documents. Because first of all, you don't need it, but it's really dangerous if they catch you with some of those documents. If they, even the foreign documents, passport, you don't need them in California. Go and get your ID or your driver license under California law. And this one, but don't take foreign documents with you because can, you know, make your situation, if somebody stop you or detain, ICE, you have, why you have foreign documents? Meaning you don't have probably the local ones. So do it. Don't carry with you foreign documents or fake documents, consular cards, those kind of things. Leave it at home. Okay. Those are a couple of things. California Trust Act, AB 60, and there is another one that is called a Values Act. It has to do with the decision of the California to prohibit the law enforcement, local law enforcement, police and sheriff to cooperate, to collaborate with ICE. ICE is Immigration Custom Enforcement. It's the arm of enforcement for the Department of Homeland Security. And those regulations prohibit those local authorities to cooperate, to hold, if you are arrested or in jail for whatever crime with the police or the sheriff, in the past, they can hold you and transfer you to immigration authorities. They cannot do it anymore, except in very weird circumstances. You know, a very dangerous criminal, those kind of things. But in general, the cooperation has been stopped. The sheriff cannot even use the ICE officer as a translator. They cannot do it. So this is why it's also so important that if you are called by those authorities, sheriff or police, don't talk, remain silent, don't discuss your immigration status, except with your attorney. It's the only person that you have to talk about that one, okay? Not with, if you are in jail with your cellmate, or don't do it, don't talk, don't cooperate, remain silent and keep the information for yourself or your attorney, okay? Healthcare, this one is, here you go. It's really important because in California, nobody can discriminate against you or negate healthcare services because you are undocumented, okay? And this is important to know. You have the right to be. Of course, there are some services in the state. We know for a fact that Medicaid, for example, is not for undocumented people. There are other programs, but in general, what is healthcare, you have access notwithstanding the fact that you are undocumented. For example, you can obtain a private insurance without medical insurance if you are undocumented. It's not that you cannot do it. This is important. It has to do AB 450. It has to do similar what we're talking about if they go to your house to enter your house and when they say, or they have a warrant and court order, or you open the door. So don't open the door. Here is like they go to a working place and they have an order to go in, or in this case, it's not you, but the employer. The employer is the one that opened the door to immigration to go do the rights. So in California, they cannot do that anymore. And so they cannot cooperate as well. And if they get contact by ICE and require information, they have the obligation to notify the employees or the union representative or attorneys. They have to let them know, okay? Um, so this is important to know also the rights on the working place is important. Safe school for immigrant students. This has to do also with discrimination if you are a undocumented or your family is undocumented. Sometimes it's that happen that situation. And the school cannot discriminate against you. More than that, they have the obligation by law to have a particular division or an office that take care of those claims or those situations in which discrimination is claimed. So as you can see, all those programs that has the purpose of protecting the community, making the life a little easier, even if you are undocumented. You can get local. If you are in California and you want to work by yourself, independent, you can do it. There's nothing that will stop you. Remember, you can open bank accounts, pay taxes, you get a TIN number, tax identification number. If you need the licenses, you have the right to obtain them, and you can work perfectly fine. Let's see. This is really important because in California, we know that marijuana is completely legal. You can cultivate, produce, manufacture, sell, buy, and use. But remember, marijuana is still illegal, is unlawful under federal law. And immigration is controlled by federal law, meaning that your green card even can be taken away or you can be deported, okay, arrested because you are using marijuana, even that is lawful in the state of California. And so the recommendation is, well, unless you are a citizen, don't do it because you taking the risk, really, if you are stopped by ICE or, this is why also, if they ever ask you, you ever use marijuana or any other drug, the answer is no. Because if you acknowledge that one, even that is because you say, yeah, I did it in California, it's lawful. It's not. Under California, under federal law, it's not. And this takes me to the last point that has to do with the permanent residents and their rights. One of our campaigns constantly is, become a citizen. Why you're a permanent resident, become a citizen. Some people say, well, I have a criminal history, I have problem with immigration. Doesn't matter. Not everything that happened with criminal or immigration incidents will stop you for becoming a citizen. This is why you needed a screening. Talk to somebody like me. I will tell you if this may affect you or may not. And why I said this one, because I said, as a green card holder, you can be deported for using marijuana, or you can leave the country at any time, but you cannot leave the country for more than 6 months. So you have limitations. If you leave the country for more than 6 months, you will not be allowed to enter the country. It's like you abandon your residence. So you need a permit. If a student, for example, they want to study abroad for some programs, they need to request a permit, okay? And this is why the citizen doesn't have any of those limitations. And if you commit a crime, well, commit a crime. You pay the price according to criminal law. But you will not be risking losing your legal status, okay? So, and this take me to, of course, why to become a citizen, because you can vote and you can decide, and your vote is your voice. So become a citizen. If you are a citizen, vote. This November 3rd will determine what the next 4 years or maybe more, and the situation in our country will be for our communities, for the immigrant communities, and in many other aspects that we already know. If you can't vote because you don't have legal status, but you have friends, family, to talk to them, convince them that it's important to vote. One vote can make a difference. And we know that. We see all the time what happened with courts. Vote. Is your voice making it heard? Okay. So this is the information of TODEC, our telephones, and the TODEC.org, where our website is a really good source of information, resources. If you want to find out about all the programs in California, you can find them. That is the link to those programs. Okay. So Suzanne, back to you. If there's any question or any comment.
Yes, Claudia, that was great. Thank you for that presentation. We do actually have one question. As an immigrant who went through the process, I know how expensive this can be. I had the privilege of having resources. Are there resources to support folks who apply for legal status?
Well, yes, there are a couple of things. First of all, some of the applications for when you apply for legal status, they still exist some waivers of modifications of the fees for immigration. So there are waivers due, for example, citizenship, or even in some cases of green card, you can ask for a waiver of fees because of your economic situation. And this is another thing that the government is trying to take away, to eliminate the waivers, increase the fees for immigration applications. So this is, it's another thing. Organizations like TODEC, right now we don't have, but this is why it's so important that you support organizations, the nonprofit. We, for example, we help, not only our services are for free, but sometimes we have funds that can help. For example, the Daca applications, we don't have the money right now because it has been exhausted, but we used to pay for the 100% of the fees for Daca renovation. And for that, we need the help of the people. So go to the websites. In our case, TODEC.org, you can donate money to this organization. Remember that all those organizations, non-profit, we use the resources to help the community. This is the way to do it.
Thank you, Claudio, for that answer. If there's any more questions, I know there's a little delay on YouTube, so we'll give it about a minute for if there's any more questions.
And always remember any question that you may have later, or if you watch the video, go to our website, make an appointment. We do everything virtual, by telephone or by Zoom, so we can answer all your questions if you have.
Perfect. Well, I don't see any more questions coming in. And I know, Claudio, you have to go in a few minutes. So I just want to thank you for all your presentations this week. They were really informative, so great. And I want to remind everyone that they can go view all of those presentations on our Week of Action webpage. All the recordings are there to view later. And like Claudio said, if you have any questions, go visit the TODEC website for more information. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today, and have a great day, everybody.
Thank you, Suzanne. Thank you. Bye-bye.